Alright, what's happening, everyone? It's Mikey, I'm Narby.
What's up, guys?
I'm going to do another malt review, of course. And we got this little humidor looking box here, and we have two miniature bottles inside this. Again, another incredible special whiskeys, two of them. We're going to be doing the last drop, 50 years old. Okay. This was recently released just a few months ago as a little special set. It's release number 3, which is right here, and release number 6, which is right here. And these are known to be as the two best ones. Jim Murray gave this one right here a 96.5, and this one right here a 97. So two incredible scores coming from him. And the certificate right here is the proof of authenticity. And there's another little thing right here. It's almost like a cigar ashtray, like a little miniature one right in the center. Comes in this beautiful, beautiful box. And I've already, for the last 20 to 30 minutes or so, we poured this guy right here. This is the third release, 50 years old. Okay. This is bottled at 50.9% ABV. So at 50 years old, the fact that it is still above 50% ABV, that's pretty exciting.
Oh yeah.
And I believe the blend is 82 different whiskeys. And a lot of them are from closed distilleries, so a lot of these whiskeys are not around anymore, and it's a unique style of blending that they did. The whiskeys were all new spirits, all 82 different whiskeys were all new spirits, and they were blended together, so it's not like they were aged separately and then blended together to bottle. So they were all married together at birth, basically. So that makes it also a kind of a different thing. It almost makes it like a one whiskey from the very beginning, even though it is blended since it's coming from different distilleries. This is, like I said, this is the third release. There's not many of these bottles released. There was a total of, I believe, 360 something or 380 something. I can't remember, but less than 400 bottles of this released. And the full-size bottles come in a nice box, and these miniatures are also included in there. Anything I'm missing?
No.
One more thing that I read was that there was only 3 casks left before they bottled this. They bottled the majority of this whiskey, so it was married together, like I said, at birth. And then they bottled the majority of it when it hit 12 years old. And then this was left in the cask where there was 3 casks left.
Yeah, 3 casks worth.
3 casks worth left. So that gives you a little background information on this guy. We obviously, when we saw this miniature set, we're very curious because these are going for around $3,500 to $4,000 per bottle. So obviously you'd have to spend $8,000 to even try these. So it's really not much of an option unless you want to go all out. But this allows a chance for us to try both of them, and the full set was around $600, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, around $600 for the full set. Anyways, without further ado, we're gonna do these back to back. So after this review, we're actually gonna review the other one so we can compare and kind of see which one we like better. Jim Murray gave this half a point less, so we'll kind of give you a perspective on which one we like the best. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the box to the side. We got the whiskey right here, and the color on this is all from Spanish oak. I believe all the whiskeys are from Spanish.
For this one, yeah.
Yeah. This is all Spanish oak since it was all blended together. It's a very thick, viscous, full amber mahogany type color here. You got, really, really, really rich, really suggesting a first fill kind of sherry cask, bottled at 50.9% ABV. I can't wait to dig my nose into this. So this has been breathing now for about 30 minutes or so. It is so perfumey. I mean, it's just an explosion of thick, heavy, like just some rich fruit cake. It's almost like walking into a perfume store and getting a really musky cologne smell. It's like that. This could fill a small room up just by leaving the glass there. It could just fill up a whole room with these beautiful, rich Christmas cake, fruit cake-like aromas.
Yeah, you just reminded me the musk. Yeah, at first, this has been open for about 20 minutes. At first, I was getting, your typical essence of sherry notes, like Narby said, the fruit cake, dried figs, like rum raisin, some deep honey, all that. But now it's been breathing for a little. I am getting some of that old, like Macallan, like musky, damp, dank, kind of moldy sherry elements we talk about, like some of the old 50s, 60s Macallans, that unique, rare sherry, old sherry casks.
Yeah,
that's what makes it really special.
This is like this is like Macallan, and almost more Glen Grant, like old Glen Grant and Longhorn.
Old furniture, old leather,
yeah. And Longhorn, and it's just reminding me of those kind of, almost like the very old 1950s Gordon and MacPhail bottles of Glen Grant. It's just incredible richness. My fear, before I've tried this on the palate, it's going to be too drying, too many tannins from the wood, but we'll see. We haven't tried it on the palate yet. But right now, this is up there with the very, very, very best sherried whiskeys I've ever known.
Because that's when it gets so complex. You can always, it's easy to do like the Macallan 18, where it's just pure toffee, treacle, dried figs, fruitcake. But when you get all those elements, the old like leather, old books, old dusty, furniture store, and all that, and then all the fruits as well, and then some of that kind of moldy, kind of musty sherry. Oh man, that's the best.
It's so alive. It's so alive with the jammy fruits. It's got all kinds of red, like rich red dark fruits, made with jam, strawberry jam, raspberry jam, grape jam, just all kinds of mixed berries, just coated in like the most just coated in sugar and just baked.
Yeah, like super like perfect amount of tart and sweet, like jammy raspberries and red currants, like those really unique red currants.
It's concentrated plum sauce and rum soaked raisins and rich dark like Persian figs. This is like Muscovado sugars and
oh man, this is awesome. It is like Narva
wow.
Said, it really is the blending. It's like the best of like your favorite 50s Glen Grant and your favorite like Longmorn 64 and 50s 60s Macallans. Everything mixed together.
It's doing the it's doing the whole fruit thing with the leather thing, and then just the soft spices, the cinnamon spice. It's doing everything in the most perfect way. This is
yeah, perfect wood spice. Perfect wood spice.
This is like sherry balsamic. This is
because it has the depth of character of 50 years old, but it's not too drying. It's like super fresh and luscious and fruity.
On the nose, at least, yeah.
On the nose. If it can match the palate, it's gonna be up there.
Good God, this is Oh wow. This is special.
This is the beauty of blending. This is what they can do with blending. This is amazing.
You know, blending is often
Keeps
looked
changing.
looked
Keeps
down
changing.
upon, and I've obviously we've both tried many different blended whiskeys and never really run into anything even close to this caliber. Usually, all the best stuff, you know, are the single malts. But I'm sure it doesn't really matter if it's a single malt or if it's a blend of amazing scotches, blending them together, it's still going to be good. So clearly what it comes down to is if you're blending using quality stuff, if it's single malt, if it's quality stuff. It really was what it comes down to. And clearly they were using this is like using the finest stuff.
Maybe it's like you said, because they were all married at birth. They all came up in the same casks, basically over 50 years. The cask took over.
And
so
let's
it
not
didn't matter the distillery as
and
much.
let's not forget also that the casks they pick, which is the number one thing that's going to flavor the whiskey, the most important part is the cask. They clearly used some incredible European sherried casks. So
that's what I'm saying. Maybe that's
the
main
main
determinant.
Of course.
Wow.
Should we try a little bit on the palate?
Let's do it.
All right, you guys, on the palate.
Phenomenal. Crazy nuts, crazy glazed nuts, honey nuts now.
It's got a thick, viscous, oaky, pretty drying mouthfeel. You're getting that dustiness. You're getting that leather, that aged. You could definitely tell that this is sat in some rich sherried wood for a long time, and you're getting some of those dark fruits. You're definitely getting some toffee, some chocolate, the caramel, the kind of honeyed cashews that Mike referred to. And I would say that the nose didn't suggest that it was going to be as drying. I'm not saying it's too dry, but it's definitely pretty drying, and I would like for it to be a little bit less. But again, at 50 years old, you can't, in sherried wood, you're just not going to get away with that. But overall, incredible on the palate as well. But so far, the nose wins as expected. What do you think?
And I would say, everything that Narby said, I would say too. I mean, I know it's 50.9%, and we love that for the nose. But what you want is, you want not so much alcohol burn, but you want like a nice, thick, oily mouthfeel. And this has a little too much alcohol burn.
Really?
For my liking, yeah.
You got alcohol. I didn't get much alcohol burn. Let's put a drop of water in there.
Versus like, if you remember our very first review, Dalmore 50, that was 52% and not nearly the same amount of alcohol burn as this has.
I didn't get much alcohol burn. The one thing about alcohol burn, something that I experienced too, a lot of times it changes for me, and depending on what we've eaten, what we've drank, and all those things. So I feel like those kind of things definitely change. And obviously your first sip sometimes, when it's your first drink that you've had in a while, can kind of tingle a little bit more. Let's try it. Let's try it nosing in and trying it again with just a drop or two. I don't want to put too much water in here. I'm scared. Even though I could probably handle it with the strength that it has, but this probably just dropped it to about 47.
And in a way, the alcohol burn for me, like, it took away from the dryness. Like, for me, it was almost the perfect amount of dryness. Whereas you would think that for me, normally, this would be a little too dry, being 50 years old and some thick, rich oak.
Now it's with just a drop or two of water, it's almost bringing out even more fruits, and it's also bringing out like this, like cola, like a cola flavored candy. It's also sweet, but not too sweet. It's such a dessert on the nose. It's just wow.
That's that old, dank, musty sherry cola.
That's basically what I get. It gets even fruitier and it adds that cola element. I'm gonna try it again on the palate with a little bit of water.
Oh yeah, it does. No, it does. It brings, for me too, it brings out the cola. It brings out like my favorite parts of the sherry, the old, musty, moldy sherry. And the cola element's a lot more. I like that. Wow. Like good spring bake.
Wow. That water helps so much. Two things. Second sip, I introduced the ABV to the palate, added a little bit of water, and it just got a lot more luscious on the palate. A lot more of those jams. Rather than getting some fruit from the first time, now those fruits are a lot sweeter and jammier on the palate, and tingling with cinnamon. Ooh. Dark, thick honey. Just plum, like that plum sauce is coming back. So a lot of those, the dates, the figs, the raisins, and all of that is starting to kind of tingle back. That I was getting on the nose, where I was at first sip without water, I was almost like trying to find it. It was a little too drying. Now, I would say like, if from 1 to 10 in terms of tannins and oakiness, 10 being like the most and too much, and let's say 1 being barely any, I'd say it's around like 7-ish. It's just getting to that point where if it gets to 8, it's probably a little too much. So it's right around the max for me in terms of what I would mean for 50-year-old sherry beast like this. That's incredible, and the finish lingers, and I still have those delicious flavors in my mouth. It's not just oak and dryness remaining. So that's a really, really good sign when the finish lingers of flavor and not just drying oak.
This takes water so well.
Let's just try it a little more. It's going to be
a
much longer review than we probably normally do, but this whiskey deserves it.
Because at first, especially with the alcohol burn for me at first, when I had the palate, I was like, it's no way going to approach the nose. But with that drop of water and hopefully the second one, a lot of those same fruit elements are coming out just as strong in the palate as on the nose. Like, it's definitely starting to approach the nose now a little more, which is awesome.
See, now I'm almost getting like apples and peaches too, even,
now
with a little, now it's like orchardy.
It's complex, man. Oh, yeah.
So you're getting different experience with each level of water, yeah.
Oh, yeah, baked apples, baked pears.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Everything baked and jammy and sweet,
pies,
yeah.
Man. Oh, the pie crust? Oh,
absolutely.
Damn, this is awesome. This is a great whiskey. This definitely mess around with the water a little bit. It takes water really well.
Wow. Just get, yeah. Sorry guys, you caught up in the whiskey there. Yeah, I know. It's like we're almost nosing it like we're alone and we're not on camera. We're quiet there for a second, but it if anything, it's video proof of how good it is. You're just lost in the moment. This nose is incredible.
That's why I call it last drop, man. You don't want to end.
All right, I'm gonna try it on the palate, and then we'll score this thing.
Kill it.
Super luscious. Brought up those fruits just like it did, more fruity on the nose. The more water you added, the less musky it got, the less dusty, the less furniture. You're getting rid of some of that extreme amounts of musky perfume that I referred to in the beginning. But you're bringing out more kinds of fruits, and like Mike said, it's almost now becoming like you're getting that like apple pie coming out, even with the crust and the baked apples with the cinnamon and brown sugar, and just getting all kinds of fruits added to it. And then more importantly on the palate now, and you know water is weird sometimes. Like I remember in the Dalmore 50 when we added water, it almost got more tannic. It was weird. It got like got even drier.
Yeah.
And this absolutely not. That 7's now to like a 6.
Yeah, when it's like it's getting younger.
Yeah.
It's getting like more of the like pure, like Macallan 18 pure sherry, like luscious toffee and treacle, and
it's got a nice long
rum
finish.
Raisins.
Yeah, got a nice long finish to it. Here's the thing about this whiskey. It's a 50-year-old. It's a sherry monster. You know that before you're going into it, just from reading what it is. Spanish sherry oak, 50 years old. They claim to be using the finest of the finest stuff. They're charging a nice premium for it. Considering that it's a 50-year-old Scotch, it's actually priced somewhat fairly, I guess, compared to other stuff that's 50. As you can see Mike right now, he's nosing an empty glass. That's how much he doesn't want to get rid of it. Wow. This is for sure better. The nose was one of the best sherry nose experiences I've had in terms of pure sherry. The palate, I have had better, but this is just incredible. This is, it's like not a final score. I've only tried this once, and with a whiskey like this, to have like a definite score, I'd have to maybe try it a few times, but factoring in how incredible the nose was, and the palate was incredible too, just not on that extreme level. I'm battling between, it's a 95. It's a 95 for me.
I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're saying. Basically, it's like the difference is such that the nose is quite a bit better than the palate, but I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna do the same thing, 95, because it's that special, it's that complex, and the nose is that mind blowing where it pushes it up that point to 95.
And one thing before we leave, in 2016 we got to try, and a lot of it was not on review. Some of it was on reviews on video, some of it wasn't. We just got to try some crazy whiskeys, old legendary Samaroli bottlings, museum pieces. You guys got to see all the samples we tried. We did on video because we know we can't bring the bottle, but we didn't do a ton of bottles, especially recently, because we wanted all the recording time we've been doing the samples, because obviously once we drink the samples, we can't review them anymore. But I would say scoring wise, anything that you've seen us do, previously in the beginning of us doing reviews, you almost want to lower each one, not necessarily every single one, but the scoring is getting harsher and harsher as we've been drinking. And we've been into whiskey collecting and drinking for a long time, and it just seems that the more you try, and especially the more special stuff like this that you try, you just naturally get harsher and harsher with your scores. And the scores do change. Sometimes I'll try something a couple times and it's a 93, and I'll revisit that bottle, and sometimes it might be a 92, 91, or even bump up to a 94. So it does change. But overall, we noticed that, you know, just like anyone, I'm sure you guys are the same way. The more stuff you try, the harsher you're going to get with your score. Not that 95 is a harsh score. 95 is obviously an epic score, but this is an epic whiskey. But I just wanted to bring up that scoring in general, because I do know there are bottles that we've reviewed in the past where I maybe gave a 91 to, and I've revisited recently, and it's maybe an 89 or a 90. So the scoring definitely gets harsher and harsher, and I'm sure that'll just continue going as we just get more experienced and try more things. But I know this became a long review here, over 25 minutes, I believe. So we'll conclude it at that, and we'll see you guys for the next Last Drop Whiskey. Cheers.